Hi, Christina.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How about you?
Good, thanks.
We're just waiting for Mickey and others. I think there's about 7 other people, maybe more.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. There she is. How are
Good
you?
morning.
How?
Good.
Give me the world of you.
The world of me or Christina?
Well, both. I mean, but you're live. I can see
I'm.
you.
Yes, you can. I can fix that though. My world is oatmeal, just like yours.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
oatmeal. I love oatmeal. Okay. Well, we have a big group today. We're going to be hauling it. That's great. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Christina, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Have I met you before?
Yeah, it was a while ago. I think Jamie invited me to one a couple of months
You in a
ago.
coffee
Yeah.
shop.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. How are things going? Got your own business going? How's that all working out?
I do. It's been going really well. Just, busy. We just got a house, so busy managing the business, moving. I have a 3-year-old that terrorizes me, so
Oh.
you know.
That's what they're born to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you the one that has the bath products?
No, I own KP Business Marketing. So
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Because we met 2 friends of hers, and one had a really cool bath products website that was nice. Yeah.
That would be great. Good morning,
Good morning.
Donna.
Good morning, Donna.
Hello.
I love Donna's surprise that we showed up. Like, oh, you're here. I'm at your house now.
Wonderful. Welcome.
I'm at your house. Now, I don't know, Donna, if you remember Christina. Christina owns a marketing firm.
Oh.
So I'm going to just remind everybody to put in your chat box, your name, what you do, kind of things that people want, if you want them to know. Good morning, Sandy. How are you?
Morning. How are you?
Morning. I'm going to start by putting my name in here.
So Mickey, is your hair naturally curly?
It is. It is. And some days it's more abundant than others. It's my hair is naturally wavy.
Okay.
But I don't get those big, beautiful,
frizzy,
your hair always
curly
looks nice.
curls.
You curl it in the morning?
Sometimes I brush it.
Please, I remember brushing your hair.
Yeah, I mean, I had straight hair as a kid. My hair did not get curly till I was 25. So that if you look at all my childhood photos, I have stick straight hair.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Except for when you had a perm.
Yes, I had a perm, but I didn't have a perm as a kid.
Oh.
Yeah, you were in junior high.
Were you excited about that curly hair when it came, or were you like wrong direction hair? Or what did you?
Oh no. it was a surprise. I got my hair became curly when I got pregnant.
So the hormones thing.
So, and then I guess everything changed. Whatever I was before then, just was now I was going to be a curly redhead. Yeah.
It works.
It works. It works. It works. But the other thing is that, the thing about curly hair is that, it can get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
So I have to sometimes kind of manage it.
Sure. Yeah.
Some days, you have bad hair days, right? Well, I have this thing where it's like, right. But then there's also prom hair days where you're just like, your hair looks so fabulous and glamorous that it looks like you're ready to go to prom.
Ready to go to prom.
And it's just like, that's not the look I was going for. It's like bad hair days and prom hair days are almost the same.
I have never equated it to prom hair days, but I kind of aspire for that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Morning, Rebecca.
Good morning, Rebecca.
Good morning. I absolutely love that about prom hair days.
Prom hair. I'm like, a little too glam.
Yeah. So Rebecca, everybody has a chat box here, so you can kind of put in what you do and so forth. So this is where you can have kind of the long piece.
Okay.
Christina put hers in already. We were just discussing curly hair when you got here, but Donna, you have curly hair.
Yeah, right? It's curly about 24 hours after being, it's a curve that's like, just drops. And so like right after that first hour, it's like, wow. And then it's like the second hour is like, not as wow. And then the third hour is like, I thought we were curly, anyway, it's really, yeah.
Nancy, you've walked into a something that Sandy started us on, which is the conversation around curly hair.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah, we have nothing to do with business. We're actually just all discussing our hair.
Kind of fun.
But Sandy, you have some wave in your hair, don't you?
I have some wave to it, yeah.
Yeah. But Sandy, you have wave in your hair too, don't you?
I do. Yes. If I don't do anything to it, it's quite wavy. Like if I didn't blow dry it after a shower, it's very wavy and pretty puffy.
Right.
So I blow dry it with a big brush to make it smooth.
Just slap it into submission. Right.
I have actually pretty easy hair to deal with. I sometimes I listen to other women and what they have to do with their hair to make it okay. And I'm just like astonished, like, oh my goodness, I never knew. Mine's
never
easy.
knew.
Here comes Janet.
Oh, good. And here comes Janet, who also has curly hair.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wavy.
Yeah. Janet, we are discussing nothing other than hair this morning.
That's a big topic.
So if you have some, you're in.
Puffy.
Yeah. And you have wavy hair, Janet.
I do the double bun. Yeah, I wrap my hair into double buns, and I tell you, I get the most compliments from the double bun, and it's the easiest thing you could. It's just that was close to putting a paper bag over your head. I mean, it's just so easy.
The double bun.
So I gotta tell you, double buns, 3 bobby pins each. Boop boop boop. Done.
Wow.
That's Princess Leia.
Right.
Yeah, you get a little bit of that, but
right.
I'm not. Yeah. I don't mind being associated with Princess Leia.
I would love.
There are worse associations. That's all I'm saying.
It didn't end well for her, but I do like the middle of the story.
What do you mean? They brought her back after she was dead.
I know, but now she's really dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's super dead now. There's no.
I just saw her on TV the other night, so I don't think she's
dead. Yeah, right. Yeah. For all of our pleasure. Okay, don't forget everybody, the chat box, Nancy, you put in your contact information so that everybody can read it. You just click down there and you will find your chat box. And that way you can kind of know what everyone else is doing. This is also kind of where we get a chance to kind of put our updates in. We still have about 6 people to drop in here. So I'm going to do some quick roundabouts of just a minute each or so to just give us your update. So Donna, I'm going to start with you. What's new? What's new?
Well, last month I was just starting the class called Immersion about it's a class about how to become a surface pattern designer, which is basically fabric and rugs and all that stuff. And I've worked a lot with fabric. In a former century, I was a professional seamstress, but it's the Illustrator. You do this all on Illustrator, and I've been wanting to go in depth with creative Illustrator. I mean, it's really just perfect for what I was looking for. However, they mentioned some books to read, and Big Magic is one of them. Oh my God, if you haven't read this book, if you're, in that creative realm, read Big Magic. And then she also is Still Like an Artist. Is it's really good. It's, I've struggled my whole life with the day job versus the creativity. And this Austin Kleon's like, find a day job that doesn't make you vomit.
Right.
And I'm like, well, I have that. I have a, that pays you, that gives you a decent wage and doesn't make you vomit. And it's like, well, so I'm getting a lot of validation about, well, I am a creative. I've come a long way, and I've got a lot going for me. And then I just found this one, the Marketing Playbook. And so I am looking for more marketing help. So I'll check you out.
Good.
Where did
That'd be
you
great.
go? But
Okay.
Christina,
I'm going to go on because we're going to start getting really big here quickly.
Perfect.
Sandy, give me your 1 minute update.
Hello, I'm Sandy Cleland with Remax Results. I'm a residential real estate agent working in the Twin Cities. And let's see, I'm going to be doing a Facebook Live event. I've never done that before, and I'm really scared. I mean, I'm not scared, but I should be. But I was practicing. I was practicing yesterday. It's a presentation I've done many, many times, but I haven't done it in a long time. And I've certainly never done it on Facebook Live. So it's about preparing your home for sale. So at least the topic is, something that I know, but the technology and everything. So I was like making little videos yesterday practicing. So that's one thing. And then the other thing is I did get this neighborhood postcard done. And I don't know if Mickey, did you get yours yet? Have you gotten
I
anything
have
like this?
not. This is fantastic.
Yeah, this is, you're on my list. So this is something that I started, last year I did a smaller postcard, like half the size. And now this year I've upped my game. So it's huge.
It's
anyway,
wonderful.
So this goes to my, it's called the Armitage Kenny Real Estate Report. So, this is my second one.
Good job.
Anyway,
Good
so
marketing.
that's
moving forward.
The neighborhood.
That's my
All right. Well, top row, Karen Karsten, give us your update. 1 minute. We got 1 minute.
Well, I'll just say that I'm having a good time.
Okay.
And I'm glad to see everybody. And I love the rain. And I'm still taking classes. I've got 3. They're all creativity classes that are related to art. Donna. So keep your creativity open. Do something different. Make something.
Keep it going. Keep it going. Okay, Nancy, let's go down to you. Give us your 1 minute update.
I am so excited because I just opened a brand new office. And I'm working with my hands on people. I do energy medicine with people and energy healing, energy psychology. And I started last week in this new office, and I'm kind of semi-retired. And so I found a place I can just rent for 2-3 days a week. And it all fell into place really nicely. I had been in an office for 21 years. Over in the Lynn Lake area. And I got out of a lease, which was a miracle. And then waited, and then this opened up. So I'm really excited, and I'm teaching. I just finished teaching a 12-week program, and now I'm going to be teaching a new class called, the working title is called Calm the Fuck Down, but I'm just calling it Calm.
Calm the fuck down. Right.
It's just called Calm. So,
Right.
And I'm teaching 2 methods that I know that are super effective in helping people release the stress and trauma that they carry in their body.
Yeah. Well, good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's a good update. Okay, Christina, let's go to you.
Hi.
Yeah.
I know.
Hi. Oh, wrong Christina.
Oh, sorry.
Wait, which one?
Yes,
Are there 2
you're
of us?
correct. You're the next on my line. Yes. Oh,
Me?
2 Christinas. Yay. K Christina.
Okay. It's kind of been a while. I've been a little bit busy. Let's see. So since I've last been on here, was voted best business person in Concord, North Carolina. So that was super exciting.
Woo!
It's been very busy. I've had a lot of new clients. I've taken on my first employee, and she's doing fantastic. So a lot going on back here. I'm working on launching my own marketing academy. I have almost 4 certifications through HubSpot Academy for digital marketing and social media content creation. So just really busy expanding my knowledge, taking some free courses, and just getting into the swing of things and realizing that this business that I dreamed of having just a few months ago is reality. So just letting that reality sink in. Yeah.
Oh, let's do a group clap.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do one for you and one for Nancy. Wow. Wow. I mean,
And
everybody.
Sandy.
This is amazing.
Thank you.
You are welcome. All right, Janet Mills, I'm going to walk on to you.
All right, I'm a graphic designer and I work on a magazine, and I've just been really busy right now. Be done in a couple hours and then have some time to get on to other projects and spring and spring.
And spring and
That's
spring
it.
and spring.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Jamie, and give us your update. You're on the move. You're on the move. Right, you're on the move and we get to just watch your chest go by. Okay, give us the we got to have some sound. Unmute.
She's not muted.
Okay, can we hear you? No.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit louder.
Can you hear me?
Barely. Up your volume.
Can you hear me now?
No, much better.
Yes.
Oh, goodness.
But we can't. Oh, now we can see you too. All right.
Okay. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good
Here in the
morning.
world.
I am in the Ozarks in Branson with my family. They're eating breakfast. I just finished. And my family for spring break and stuff. So I've got a beautiful view.
Oh yeah.
And there's
You
about
never disappoint on the view.
there's about 35 of us here. But anyways,
Wow.
I know it's a lot. I'm finishing up a couple of my projects, kind of honing in some work stuff. And so I'm really excited because I'm almost done with it. I was a little overwhelmed at first when giving the assignment. So
Good.
yeah,
Well,
I'm kind of overachiever. So I can't wait to have another meeting with you.
oh, good. I
So
love
yeah,
that you're doing.
and like, I don't know, things are fine. I like just working a lot, and we're going into busy wedding season. So
money will just rain on you.
it will be nice.
Yeah, that's good. All right.
People are remarrying.
Oh,
What aspect of weddings do you do?
Well, I have a couple venues that I rent out.
Oh, sweet.
And then I'm a private chef. So I do a lot of like their bridal showers or bachelorette parties or their special dinners and that type of stuff. I got, certain clients I'll do some flowers for, but really I'm more honing in on just being the venue owner and having vendors that I work with and then continue to, some other things with the cooking. But yeah, that's what the aspect of it is. It's really to own them.
Sweet.
good job. Okay, Christine with a C, let's go on to you. And then Alice, I'm coming to you afterwards.
My 1 minute update is, let's see, I am taking 2 new courses, which I am excited about. One is a new technique that will marry the coaching tools I have right now really well and make them more practical. And then I am, the other course is a business course, which I'm super excited to just like own my business. I feel like I'm very much still doing what I've been taught. I want it to be more me and marry it to who I am. And so that's what I'm doing. And I launched my podcast last month. So I'm super excited about that.
Oh, we'll put that podcast link in for us. We would all love to know that.
I will.
I love that piece of it, right? I mean, I think that's actually what Jamie's doing. And I actually think we're going to find out Rebecca's doing that same thing where you are really figuring out how to own the, you know, it's different to be like, I'm doing this, this is what I do. It's a very different piece to own it.
Yeah.
Good for you. Okay, Alice, give us your update. Where have you been? We've missed you horribly.
Hi. You know, I've just been really focused on just defining exactly what I need to be doing to make more money, but make them money by giving my customers and clients what they need. So just working on that. After this session here, I am meeting with my digital person, and we're going to videotape my first session for my virtual Women Empowered program. I've done it in person before, live, but this time I'm going to be creating it for a virtual audience.
Wow. Well, you look great.
Thank you.
You'll be ready. You'll be ready.
Well, that's part of the workshop is about personal growth and how to create, how to enhance your financial dreams through personal growth. You know, so that's what it's all about. It's, you know, I find that a lot of people that I run into, they have dreams. We're doing our own thing, but that personal growth, there's still some fear that's keeping us from believing that we can make more than what we're making. So I want to help people with that mindset, that personal growth mindset.
Right, right. I'm watching all of the coaches go, Wonderful. Welcome back, Alice. Rebecca, it's your first time. Oh, Rebecca's had these huge life changes. She comes to us from Austin, Texas today. Alice, where are you located? I can't remember.
I'm in Charlotte, so I'm next door. My neighbor is Christina.
Hey. Oh,
yeah. Concord is only, I'm 15 minutes away from Concord, the Concord Mills Mall, Christina.
I live in Concord too.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So live from Texas, Rebecca Mundahl, give us your spiel. 1 minute.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Nice to meet you all. My first time here. So I guess I'll just do an introduction instead of an update. I am a new Ayurvedic practitioner. I just moved to Austin. I've only been seeing clients for 6 months, and I actually have my first local client this weekend, which is wonderful. Big deal for me. I have a background in medicine. I actually went to medical school and then had a big awakening and was like, oh God, I can't do this. So I, finished that, came home and went into Ayurveda.
Right, because you were living in Romania, right?
I was living in Romania. Yep, I went to medical school in Romania. And after I finished that program, came back home, had a huge ego death and was like, oh God, who am I? What am I doing with my life? Remembered I actually have roots. I was raised in a yogic household, so I went back to Ayurveda, and it's been the best decision I've made to date. And yeah, so now I'm in the very exciting time of, okay, I'm finally in a place I'm ready to set down some roots and build a business. And so that's what all of my time and energy is really going into.
Right. Big deal. Okay. Anybody have any questions for anyone else in the group before I start class? This is your open mic moment.
Janet, can we get Janet's check-in?
Yeah.
Oh, how did I miss that?
Time for class. Been working hard and we'll be done in a couple hours with the project and ready for spring and other projects, news projects.
Right.
How's it? It was fast.
Okay. Well, I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to kind of get us ready. Today, I got a nice treat for you guys, because you actually get to see a bunch of my photos. So there you go. We can all enjoy that. So we're going to work on our deck today. And remember, there's two kinds of decks. And so you guys will frequently, I want you to think about a deck like a deck of cards. And that is like, it's something that you choose from. So we are going to use a deck as a term for those of you who are pitching your business model. Rebecca, this is going to be really poignant for you on a couple of levels. Jamie, and this is going to be for you as well, because you guys are pitching some other things that will be coming in. So for you, I would also write down that this would be your pitch deck as well. So everything that we're learning about customer deck today, you'll also use for business deck and your pitch deck. But we're going to focus in on this. So one of the things that I did is I just brought together a bunch of images on today's item on the subject, right? Which is really, there's birds in every picture, and they're birds of pictures that I took. But what they do kind of illuminate is how vast a customer base can be, that they really have not a lot in common, but they're all in the same phylum of bird, right? So not every customer is going to need the same thing, but they may have some things in common. So just kind of an advanced piece, you're going to kind of write down a 1 through 8. So just start to give yourself a list of 1 through 8, and you're going to end up kind of finding out who are your basic 8 customers. And then we're going to start working on how you storytell around that, and then how you build content around that, and how you reach towards them. In this particular picture, you can see I put where my kid is. This happens to be in Florida, this last trip. And so when you're thinking about your marketing deck, many of you are going to be building your customer deck first, and then your marketing deck. So the customer deck is really defining who are all the people, that 1 through 8. And then the marketing deck is really talking to those 8 people. So that's the delineation, right? So that marketing deck is, here's my 8 customers. This is what they look like. This is what they talk like, whatever. We'll kind of walk through that. And then how do we talk to them? So when you think about marketing, it's really, how are you interfacing with them? What is it that they want from you? What are the products that you are selling? Or what are the problems that you're solving? You know, I think this is going to come in for all of you that are coaching, that you're going to see that you have some problems that you're solving continually, and you have some problems that everybody has, right? So this picture I actually took with Janet Mills in the Kmart parking lot here in Minnesota. And it's all these, we got there. It was one of those days where I went, Janet, I need you to be my bodyguard. And she's like, okay, whatever. Okay. So I went to this, there were all these birds. And so I picked up some bird seed, and we took some of the pictures that are in here together. And I'm like, I just need you to like throw bird seed while I take these pictures. So we had a great day in I don't know, cahoots there.
Yep.
But you know, just because there's lots of customers around and there's lots of opportunity, all of you love opportunity. That is what I think is the 100% in common for everybody in here, is that all of you are in love with opportunity. You can see it. You can see it in others. That's also why this group is so fond of each other, is because you just believe in each other as well. So just because you see opportunity doesn't mean they're your customer, right? So when you look at these bird images today, I'm going to encourage you to just start to make a story up. So this is bird image 1, right? So this is the first bird that we have. Okay, tell me about what this person would be as a customer, right? Who is this bird?
They look a little shy.
Yep, looks shy.
Not wanting to make eye contact.
Right.
Not wanting to engage.
Right.
But
They're
interested.
They're waiting for something.
Waiting for something, yep.
They're getting ready for winter, so they need your help
Right.
with resources.
Right. Right.
They have, it looks like they have a very narrow place where they're comfortable.
Right.
And it looks very comfortable there.
Right. So exactly the type of storytelling you'll be doing on your customer deck. So a customer that we all make up in our minds is a lot like this picture, right? They're elegant, they're nimble, they're beautiful people, they're so smart, they have money, they just do everything. But that's not actually the customer that most people have. The customer that most people have is oftentimes who just fell in the door and you guys started hanging out. And the point of a deck is to stop doing that, is to really be able to say, hey, let's start with that point of attraction from exactly what you want. And in order to do that, you have to figure out what's the conversation, what's the solve, and what is it that you actually do for that person. So think about, I want the elegant and nimble right away, right? Step 2, right? Here's our imaginary detail of customer 2. What do you have to say about this proud cardinal? It's a female cardinal.
Well, it's beautiful.
Right?
Like attentive, but probably pretty discerning.
Yep.
I would say assertive and detail oriented.
Yes, I would definitely say that's true.
And very alert. Her little comb is straight up.
Yeah. Right.
I would say demanding.
Demanding. Yes. Loud. I feel like this bird could be loud.
She's ready.
Ready. Yep. Yeah. So when you start looking at that, a lot of times when you're talking about this as a marketing deck, you're really looking at what are the visual presentations that you would be giving to this customer, right? So how would we build an entire relationship with just this one customer, right? It's one of 8. Most people have about 8 different customer types. So if we were talking about Sandy's clientele, right, we have people in age groups, we have people in certain types of transitions, right? New baby, new neighborhood, new whatever. So that would be where she would kind of pull her customer deck together, right? And that customer deck would then be, now how do we market to each of those people, right? And it's really saying, hey, this is what they want to hear only, not what does everybody buying a house want to buy, right? So when we go to, when we are looking at Rebecca's life, right? So Rebecca's got an Ayurvedic practice, right? That people are coming to for a couple of different reasons. Rebecca, what in your customer base, who would this bird be?
This one is, good question. This person is wondering, they're extremely what I would call a pitta person. So they want to optimize themselves.
Right. Right. So Jamie, and who would this bird be in your deck?
This bird here in my
Yeah.
deck.
In your customer base, who would this bird be?
This sounds like one of my I don't want to say difficult clients.
Discerning, right?
Yeah, discerning. It's a better
Somebody
word.
who likes to puff up.
Yeah, just somebody who's really like just the micromanaged client.
Right, right. So you're going to treat them very differently, right? So in that case, right, that you may be looking at what's the marketing we would do to them is to say, hey, if you are this type of person, here's why you'll like us. We have, you know, a checklist for you, or
let's take Indian Point Road, Indian Point, and Missouri
Right.
76 Branson West.
Sorry.
In 400 feet.
Oh my goodness.
Turn right.
Go off.
Then turn left.
Oh my goodness.
So when we start to look at what that would be, you would build all your marketing materials for that customer for that in your tools. So that may be how are they going to navigate your systems? How are they going to, what are the things that are going to make their buying opportunity a delight for both of you, right?
Right.
And
This seems like a client who would everything really needs to be spelled out to a T to them. very hands-on, even from what they see in my marketing campaign to them.
Right. So that would be detail, right? So it's not like, does everybody need that? No, not necessarily, right? But some of them do. So when we look at, and Christina with a K is going to probably stand up and give us an ovation over this one, because this is your world, right?
Right.
You know, giving people statistics is one thing, right? But it's really, and doing cool images is another, but it's a whole nother thing for me to tell you, right? That this bird is standing on top of a cage of baby alligators while I'm taking its picture, right? There's a story, right? And it makes you go, oh yeah, the alligator picture, right? So when you're starting to look at storytelling, Christina, how much of your time are you spending with your clients doing storytelling?
Oh my God, a lot. Probably at least 80% of the time I'm telling some sort of story.
Right, right. And so part of the way that you may be doing that with stories is you may be doing something called a storyboard, right?
Yep.
Or what are the other tools that you're using for storying?
I specifically do like brand guides or brand books, mood boards, or visual boards. There's so many different ways. Usually the most popular thing that I use in regards to, you know, telling a story about a business is a brand guide and their mood boards.
Yeah, I really like a mood board. And I actually think a mood board would be really helpful for pretty well, Christine with the C, I think that would be helpful for Jamie, and I think that would be helpful for you. Rebecca, I think that would be a good tool for you as well. Donna, you already lived this mood board kind of thing. But I think a brand guide would probably be really helpful for you, Sandy. And I think a mood board for Janet would also work as well. Of just like, what are the types of clients that I want to do? What's the type of work that I want to do? Or what do I want to say about my company? So when you're looking at your customers, we're really looking at, right, who are there and how many are there? That's the key item, right? How many are there? Is this a really navigational few, or is this many?
Nikki, I was there when you took that photo.
Yes.
And
Janet,
these customers
you were there.
only want their seed. They don't care about us.
No, they don't care about us. No, no. And then I watercolored the photo, so it would be a little mushy. But yes, Janet was here when I took this picture, and they were this beautiful. They really were. But I am literally laying on my stomach on a dirty parking lot floor with a camera in my hand, and Janet Mills standing over me so I don't get eaten by these birds. I just need you to guard me. But again, in that big picture, right, we have to single out that perfect customer that's in a group of people, right? So it's not just like, hey, here's your homeowner. It's not just here's your homeowner with a baby. It's who's your homeowner that has a baby that's bird one, right? That may be shy or standoffish or whatever. How do you reach them, right? How do you reach an introvert, perhaps? Or bird two, who's really got lots more to say or lots more. And that's where you start to use that deck. That's why you want the deck, is you want to really look at, here's actually who I want. So it's not just, hey, there's a lot of people in my category, but I want to pick out the one that's right for me. Well, which one is the right one? And that's where a deck is a little bit magic. So when you look at that, most of you are going to have 8 different types, and they're all going to have a different proposition, right? A value proposition. What do you do? And when you look at that as outreach, you're also going to touch them differently. So we've used this word a lot, which is, right, a self-identifier, that something in your marketing materials would help me self-identify that you're my person, right? So a self-identifier for Donna may be, hey, we're having a fundraiser, right? So that's a self-identifier. Oh, we're having a fundraiser for soccer. Now I've got it twice. And so starting to look at what's that value proposition. And what we will be doing is we'll build a story and a pitch for everybody. So what does that mean? It means that if you're going to give 8 posts, 1 goes to each person, right? That you're not focusing on one, you're focusing in on a market that is most of the time paid, that you are sponsoring content and data that goes to specific customers. For those of you who are using Facebook or Instagram to target your customers, and Rebecca, you've done this with posts before, is you can build a customer outreach specific to other people. So you would most of the time build them as customer 1, customer 2, and do it that way, because they will allow you to name the customer base. Alice, if you're doing Facebook work or online stuff, this is going to be really helpful for you. Are you doing any sponsored ads, Alice?
Not at this point. I haven't thought about that.
Okay, that's going to be a big win for you, especially if you want them virtual, is to have them navigate to you virtually. So think about your 1 through 8, right? These are my customer bases. Now, how am I going to build the pitch or the marketing towards those? And then how am I going to identify them virtually so that I can send content just to bird 1 or bird 2?
Got it.
Right?
Okay. Sounds great.
And Christine with the C, this is going to be really a plot line for you as well. So just a reminder, right? What is a value proposition or a vision? It's like a tweet, no pun intended, with the bird theme, but it's a tweet. It's really short, right? And so I just went with bird feeders, right? So bird feeders bring joy to people of all ages. And I made up the story that we have invested 20 years in making great bird feeders. So, okay, now we have that value proposition. And the value proposition is that we'd like to bring joy to people of all ages. And because this is my bird feeder, I find that it does bring joy to people of all ages. So now we have that values proposition, and now we start to put it into those 8 clients, right? So they're perfect for people who love nature. They're people for, somebody who has a cat. I don't know. Sandy, I know you have a cat. Didn't you take your cat from outside?
Yes, he was. He was a stray. He was living outside. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Is he interested in birds?
Oh, yes.
Right.
And chipmunks and squirrels.
And
Mm-hmm.
chipmunks and squirrels, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they may find joy in watching a bird outside your window.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Right. So when you start to look at who are those customers, now you can kind of start to see, right? Oh, somebody who has small children, right? Christine with the K, right? You can see how your child may enjoy having a bird feeder around. That they may like to look at it. Rebecca, you're in an apartment. Wow, wouldn't that be great to have them on the deck, right? So when you start to look at what that customer is, we're going to have a very different conversation with all of these individuals. And then we're going to start to tell a story about that customer in your business product. So because they all have a different values proposition. One of the things that I do need you guys to think about is that there is the same problem for all 8. Okay, so there is the same problem for all 8 of those customers. So when we look at this as a bird feeder, what do you think is the same problem for everybody of these all of these 8 customers? I'll go back to that one to give you the clue. What's the problem in the bird feeder company that all people have?
Squirrels.
Squirrels, right? They all have squirrels. What else? We're here to bring joy. What would be the same problem that everybody who gets a bird feeder has?
Buying seed.
Buying seed, sure.
Mess on the ground.
Yeah.
Well, it's really the squirrels.
Right. So I believe that 100% of the problem that people have is they don't see enough nature. Okay, why would they want a bird feeder, right? Bring nature to you. So they have all of these other pieces, but right, what's the problem that all of our customers have? And exactly what you guys talked about are other concepts. But when you look to what is the emotional grab for someone, it's very different than to say there's squirrels that get in it, right? There's, you guys just named all the, you know, these are other problems, but they're not actually heart-based problems. They're not that emotional give of, man, I want to have coffee with nature every morning. I want my kids to stare out the window and see birds every morning. Or I want to take a picture of something that's cool, or I want to bring my blood pressure down. Has anybody in here ever watched birds? Does anybody else have a weird love affair here with birds? Yep. So we've got a couple of you. And so, right, so when you start to look at that problem, right, then those people are going to have some other side steps that you can stand next to them. So when you're thinking about your marketing deck, you're thinking about that problem that they all have. You're thinking about them as an individual customer and what that customer's needs are. But you're also thinking about what's standing right next to it, right? So somebody who likes watching birds out their window, probably going to want to see birds in the wild, right? Because once you start noticing them out your window, you're going to start magnifying out from that. So you're going to say, oh, wow, I look at the birds that are in the sky. Look at the birds that are on this pier. I saw this bird. This one happens to be with my favorite bridge in Florida. The Sunshine Bridge. I have like a weird, creepy love affair with this bridge. And then I got the bird too. It was magic. So the solution to that problem, right, of 100% of people don't have enough time with nature is going to be different for bird one than it was bird two, right? Bird one is shyer, right, quieter, a little more introverted, right? So they're going to have a very different relationship with birds and their bird feeder than bird number two, right? Who is a little more puffy, likes a lot more detail, you know, they want it to do something, right? So even though the problem may be the same, the solution is going to have a variant to each of your 8 customers. And they also have a different relationship to how they view the problem. So some customers view that as being a torturous item, and some people view it as just, you know, being something to solve, right? How many of you have been with customers who go crazy over a detail and they're like out to the moon, and then you have other people who are like, don't sweat it, and you're off to the moon? And you're like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. And they're like, yeah, don't sweat it. But then you have this tiny detail with bird number two, and they're like off the charts, and you're like, why are you mad about that, right? So these are also when we start looking at customer service, right? So Christina, when you're working on things of how to respond to things for customers, that's another one that I think is going to be a big deal for you. I think, Rebecca, you're going to see a lot of this in that individual service. And I think that probably Sandy's probably the pro at this. Because Sandy, is it true that you get to solve problems every hour?
Absolutely.
Right. So
pretty much what I do.
That's pretty much what you do.
I'm a psychologist too.
Yeah. So there is a different way to solve it for each person. And if we kind of get to that basic 8, it will allow you to do exactly what Christina with a K is learning to do, which is to have an employee. To go, here's how we handle bird number 2. And so many times when we're using these in marketing profiles, like for a clinic or something like something that's a little bit bigger, it's a way for us to train staff into how to appropriately respond with material. So oh, hey, this person's going to want to know a lot about whatever this topic is. And right. So when we go back to that problem of 100% of people do not see enough nature, now we start solving it through, oh, well, what about, how do we solve that for the person who just loves nature? How do we solve that for the person who has small children? How do we solve that for the amateur photographer? Right? How do we solve that for the cat person, right? Or the person that can't have pets. So it is the problem that all of them have. Now we can have a very different conversation. And sometimes you can piggyback on those conversations, but you want to direct that message really clearly. So for Jamie Ann, right, somebody having a bridal shower party is very different than somebody having a baby shower party. So she's going to talk to brides very differently than pregnant women. So now we start looking at what are the problems that person, so here's the male cardinal. And so here was the question, right? And this actually really happened. And this tree is actually right across from my living room. So for my birthday, I asked for a bird feeder. I literally go on vacation for the month of October. And I would call home while I was on vacation to be like, are there any birds on my bird feeder? Can you just send me a picture? And like, no birds were coming. And I'm like, did I fail? Like, am I screwing up my bird feeder? Right? Oh, why isn't it working? Well, because somebody gave me the wrong feed, right? That my husband just bought a bunch of seeds and went, oh, this is probably it. Oh, guess what? Only squirrels eat that. So, right, I had to get this other place. But one of the problems that people who want to see nature is that, like me, right? Am I doing it wrong? Right? Am I doing it wrong? So now we look at the type of marketing that we can put out for them, because whether they bought the bird feeder from our imaginary company or from another, they're going to search on Google, right? What makes birds come to a bird feeder? And that's where your content starts coming in, right? Is by understanding your customer deck, the marketing to those customers, and then understanding what they're actually searching for. What are their problems? Because then you'll get the variant of everyone in their category that has the same problem, right? There's a million crazy old ladies like me who put a bird feeder out. They want those fucking birds to come all morning long, right? There's a million photographers out there that want just a good picture of a bird, right? There's a million little kids that are going to be, their hearts are going to light up because they see a bright red bird, right? The cat is going to love it as well. So, right, when you start looking at that side conversation, right? Somebody who wants more nature, right? You can start to go to that side piece. Oh, how do you feed ground birds? That would be interesting to an amateur photographer. And that is go get birdseed. When you are thinking about having a storytelling, I remind people this is the only word that you need. Why is this the most important word? I'm going to let Janet Mills go first because she loves words.
Well, this is my favorite photo, by the way, because it sucks you in and you have to look at it and it has a mood. So I guess you need to sort of evoke interest from your client so you stand out from all the others. That's all I've got.
That's right. That's right. Nancy, this would be a good one for you to answer. You're very wordy. Fantastic too.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. You
so what intrigue? Why is this a big deal in marketing?
You've got to be interesting to people. You've got to pique their interest and want them to, share with them something that's interesting about your work.
Right. And compelling, right? So,
How can you help them with that?
Right, right.
That
So
thing-
yeah, so Christina with a K, give us a piece of intrigue.
Geez, now that you put me on the spot.
I know. Well, let's talk about what was interesting about you today. What was intriguing that you already brought to us? And I'll give you what I thought, but
okay. I guess intriguing would be, winning the, being voted best business person of the year. That when I posted it, that's pretty much all I put on my Facebook. And then it kind of, it spiked people's interest because they obviously want to know why I was voted best business person of the year in Concord. And then they wonder, what services exactly does she provide? What made her so great? And when they think these questions, they end up on your website. Now they're looking at your services. They're looking at, why is she business person of the year? So they look at your work, they looked at my portfolio, the brand guides that I've done. And that kind of, that sparks that initial conversation with somebody. So instead of you initiating that conversation, they're coming to you because you intrigued them. So you're like, almost like dangling it in front of their face and not exactly giving it to them. And it sparks something in them. So then they're coming to you. So they're taking your bait without you having to spill all the beans, so to speak.
Right.
She nailed it.
Let me give it to you in the Mickey of why it would be intriguing to this group. Because one, this is a group of your peers, right? We are all business owners, right? So we know that behind the scenes stuff, right? So not only did you win an award, you're a brand new business owner during COVID with a 3-year-old and a move on top of it. Right? So not only have you had to start from the beginning, go to the top, do it with a kid, do it during COVID, do it when you're building a house, and do it and make a living and make a living. Right? And have a paycheck and get a new employee. That's intriguing. Right?
I'm just winging it, to be honest.
That's right. But that's not actually the truth. That you're flying with intention.
Mm-hmm.
And you're flying with intention because of something that you do. And that was that you were willing to show up fully in your life. And to share your life with the people around you.
Mm-hmm.
So when you start to look at intrigue, we'll start with your story, but we're most likely going to finish with the Mickey version. Right? So right. When you think of intrigue, each of you has intrigue. So now I'm going to put Alice Flowers on the spot. Alice, what's your intrigue? You're going into class today.
Is touching people's emotions. Is having them to agree that they need what you're offering.
Right. So let's build intrigue with everybody here. So if we were, can you name the product so they can understand it? So I'm going to let them all shout out.
It's called Women Empowered: How to Transform Your Mindset from Self-Doubt to Self-Belief.
Okay. So let's throw out intrigue here.
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking everyone. Everybody gets to open up.
Well, it's a big topic. Like, how is she gonna, where do you even start with that? And how do you make it into where do you start and end with that? I guess would be the intriguing thing to me.
Well, I start with creating and helping women. Men are invited to, but mostly women, to really hone in their self-worth. Are we living from our strengths or weaknesses? How are we using our strengths? And how do we value our self-worth? And can we improve upon that and increase that? That's part of it. The other part is, how are we branding our personal self as a business owner? So I work through how to style yourself, meaning how do you want others to see you? And I work, that's session 2. And that is all about your personal image. And how are you showing up when you are a business person? How are you showing up to gain instant credibility? And the third session is about creating your success plan. And remember, this is about your personal growth, but within that, I want women to open their mindset to making more money or increasing their bottom line of their income bottom line. So that's what it's all about, empowering us to believe more, or to enhance our belief system that we have right now, to take us to the next level.
Okay. All right. Can I give you my intrigue?
Yes, please.
Here's my intrigue for that. 100% of high achieving women have had to go on the difficult personal growth journey to define their own self-worth. That journey starts here.
Can I use that?
I wrote it for you.
Where do I find it? I need to write that down. That's great.
Right. So that's what I mean about intrigue. I need you guys to really pull it in. What she gave us was a descriptor, right? What all of you are doing is you're giving me descriptors, right? You're using descriptor. Oh, here's the class I'm teaching. Here's whatever. Oh, fuck that, you know, right? Everybody's teaching a class. You have to build on intrigue to exactly that customer. Alice, I got a chance to think that in my mind, the story I made up is that you want customers that want to be high achievers. Right? That they want to put in the work. There's a lot of things about that bird number 3 that we haven't invented yet, right? That is that person. So you go to that, you go, look, 100% of high achieving women have had to go on a difficult personal growth journey. To define their own self-worth. That start line is here.
That starts line. What was the last sentence?
That start line is here.
Okay.
Right? We'll start right here. And that just, they can self-identify. So they can self-identify that, all women that want to be high achievers have to go through this.
Got it.
Right? Now we have intrigue. I've given you a fact, but I've given you a fact that allowed you to self-nominate, that also allowed you to dream and allowed you to be where you are right now.
Yes, I love it.
Okay, so when you're starting to think about intrigue, and you know, let's go to Rebecca. Rebecca, give us a customer, and then let's build intrigue.
Okay, customer is somebody who is interested in their health but feels like they could be doing better, and generally has some kind of deeper issue as to why they're not doing it, and they're not sure why, and so that's why they come to me.
Okay, and you have a class right now, don't you?
Yeah, just finished it yesterday, actually.
Oh, okay, and you have another. Can you tell us about the class you just finished?
Yeah, it was an introduction to Ayurveda. It had practical tools. It was pretty fun. We built on all the five senses as to how to use the 5 senses to heal your life, and talked about basically just really practical ways to start building an Ayurvedic lifestyle in a way that's doable for the average person.
Okay. So I'm going to use the piece that you gave me the first, right? That's our customer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody who's interested in their health and they may have some blocks, but they don't understand what they are.
Yep.
Okay. But they don't want to necessarily do a deep psychosis into that.
Well, they think they don't.
They think they don't. Okay. But they are looking for tools, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, they're looking for tools, and also what I'm finding is they need a second set of eyes to say like, oh yeah, but have you really thought more about that? Because 9 times out of 10, it's not what they think it is. They think like, oh, I just need a better diet, when it's like, oh, I need a different relationship with my body.
And what is the thing that they really need?
More presence and more self-compassion, usually. I mean, all of the Ayurvedic stuff really is essentially about cultivating more presence in what we're doing in everyday life in order to be able to make choices that are healing. And it's not actually about diet. It's really about, am I aware of what's happening for me in my internal experience right now? And how can I use every single thing around me to keep me in a state that's putting me closer to harmony instead of disharmony?
Okay. All right. I'm going to let the group, I can see a bunch of you writing intrigue. Karen Karsten, do you have a response? You're a wordy. I haven't picked on you yet. Oh, she's frozen. Well, okay, must be frozen. I'll open it up to everybody. Okay, is everybody frozen or just me?
Oh no.
We're here. It's just trying to come up with an intriguing thing to say about what Susan just told us.
I thought, yeah, I mean, it was so intriguing. I can see wanting to get that into a shorter sentence type of thing. But oh, it was like really beautiful. More presence and self-compassion. That's beautiful.
I missed it. I had a little bit of an emergency, so I missed all of that. Sounds intriguing though.
I would go with something around the word presence. Like we can all use more around that, you know, and I don't have the words for it right now, but and the other thing would be integrity, you know, like how to be in alignment with what you really want and what you really do. You know, like I do this and I want this, and how do I get here? You know, so I don't know the words to make that sound intriguing. I
love the word integrity. That was great.
Yeah, integrity is a really good fit for her. Okay, Christina with a K, what do you got? And I know Christina with a C has something.
All right, sorry, I'm not gonna lie. I'm stuffing my face with breakfast right now because I haven't ate and I am
That is
starving.
so fantastic. What's for breakfast?
So I'm at my mom's house. So my mom's my best friend, long story short. And I always grace her with my presence every morning. And today, because you know I'm 26 and I don't want to be home alone. So today we door dashed, I think, what was it, Mike's Deli and Bagel, and I got a nice little omelet and some rye toast, and I'm enjoying the 80-degree weather outside, and just, you know, I'm just kind of living the life here, I guess.
Right. Again, great to be number one.
I know. So I got bits and pieces. I started breaking out because I don't know, I guess I'm outside and the internet's not that great. So I got the intriguing, you know, kind of a little part of it, but I missed maybe 2 minutes of it because it was just all choppy and then people froze.
Okay, yeah, I froze. I think it was all of us. Okay, so Christina with the C, I'm going to give you some because I saw you still getting some of it.
Yeah.
Any intrigue that you can give us?
Mine is short only because I get stuck with this. And I think, you know, this is what Christina with a K teaches people, but I'm so into describing the result and the process. And it's just, for some reason, even though I was that person, it's hard for me to get into their head and be intriguing, I guess. You know, like when you did that for, I think it was Janet, you know, it seems like so easy. Oh yeah, of course, that's intriguing. But so I think it's, maybe I'm making it harder than it needs to be.
Right. Okay, so I'll give you one from me. Rebecca, are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
And this is loose, just to let you know, this is loose. Okay. This was not as easy as Alice's.
Okay.
So there is a more beautiful way to be healthier in your eating. With presence and compassion and using your 5 senses, we can overcome roadblocks at a lightning speed. Or you could have gone, you could have started with a statement more around that piece of, with presence and more self-compassion, we can build integrative tools with your 5 senses that make eating a pleasure.
Yeah.
Right? That's a lot better than, hey, I want to tell you about Ayurveda.
Right.
Right? So you want to build intrigue. And as you guys can all tell, it's really hard. So when you start to think about how you position it, how you position the words that you're giving to people, you sometimes don't want to tell them about what it is that you actually do, but you may want to tell them about what happens to anyone in that situation. What happens as someone's emotionally going through something. Intrigue is, again, it's mood, it's mantra, it's, you know, all of the emotions that are going around what it is that you're doing with people. It may be just saying, hey, there's a friendly way to eat. And we have that starting point. And then that's enough intrigue to go, let me come in that door. I want friendly. I would like to be friends with my food. Because there's a lot of people who have a really confusing relationship with food. And when we go to those 8 customers, each one of them is going to have a very different confusing piece. So when we go to the next slide, right, when we start to look at using pictures or stories that kind of describe that piece. So when we go back to Alice's piece about what are the pictures that we would show around that 100%, right? About those women who are, right? 100% of high achieving women have to go on a difficult journey, through a difficult personal growth journey, right? It may show someone actually doing an Ayurvedic pose. That it may be around eating, it may be around the way we present ourselves, right? So showing what that is, and sometimes that's where videos help. When we look at Jamian's work, that's going to be very helpful. Donna, I think this is where you can really take a note in to really show, you know, what does the solution look like? You know, how to have a fundraiser during COVID. That how to bring something forward, or how to bring something into the classroom, so forth. So we're gonna, intrigue is really the one I'm gonna have you, that I'm gonna kind of bend your brain on. The other thing that I want to kind of go back through in that deck for you is you're going to think about who is that team that you have, who's going to deliver the content, who's actually uploading it, where does your content live, and is that is that you're living on Instagram, is that you're living on a website, that everyone has a virtual location where their customers find them. And everyone here is virtual first. So think about where you are delivering your content. Do you want them to come to your website because that's where people buy things? Do you want them to go to your Instagram because that's where they see things, or they see stories, or they have the reels that are going? Where is that? And what are the products that are optimizing? So, going back to our bird feeders, right? Bird feeders are the perfect gift for an amateur photographer, right? That's our bird client, right? So we can say a rough statement, right, in that intrigue. Birds are such odd and beautiful creatures, right? There we start the intrigue. But the related problem would be, how do we get up close to birds? This happens to be a bunch of vultures that I went to go find in Florida. Vultures are becoming more and more. First of all, they're beastly. I mean, they will tear up. They'll tear off your roof. They will tear off your roof. When you have a whole bunch of vultures, they'll tear off your roof in about a half hour. So nobody wants an entire congregation of vultures landing in their yard. But they are also becoming more and more endangered because they like trees, actually. They like trees and to be able to do stuff. So when we're looking at content to put out to our 8, right, bird feeders are a perfect gift for an amateur photographer. What would that photographer want to hear about? So, and what would be the products that you could sell to that person? Or what is the information? What makes you the trusted resource, right? And how can you talk to people about that? And how can you invite people to come in, right? One of the things that some of you have worked on is style guides, but another one is really, right, how-to demonstrations, how-to information, right? How to have a simple baby shower, how to have, a house buying experience as someone in a specific age group, right? So a demo and a how-to are really good. So in this case, our customer was, right, are the perfect gift for people with small children. Now we kind of can hone in on how would we position the story about how-to information? How would we position that? For those of you who are going to be using Pinterest on part of your, as part of what you're building, Jamie and I would encourage you to use Pinterest as well as a tool. And actually, I think for you, Rebecca, Pinterest would be a really great tool for you, of how, where are you going to be to win customers, right? So when you're thinking about your marketing deck, what I want you to think about is, right, the problem that you can solve for someone, and how are you going to tell and show and showcase that story? Because that's what they want. They want something solved. And it may not be that what you think it is, right? They may want integrity. They may want to be closer to nature. They may want to feel at home. They may want to not feel crowded. They may want to feel the celebration and love of their friends around the table. They may want to have more integrity around who they are and how they look, right? There's a million ways. So start looking at what it is that they really want. And then all of you have really in that how-to guide, right? It's really, I would look at how-to, because it has been the largest growing section of search engines questions in the last 10 years. How to, if you've ever gone to YouTube, it's how to. And so for those of you who are looking to become known in your area, a how-to conversation in a video or something else is going to be really helpful. But remember, you're giving that video to one of the 8. Okay. The other piece here is that remember, your customers are your news feed. So whoever you're showing it to, remember they would like to show you something too. So if you are looking at Instagram, this would also be an opportunity to highlight your customers. That would be a way to highlight something that's important, that you can give it in that highlight section, you can give it a heading and a post that is up there, and that post can be different than what is in your main feed. So invite your customers to help you be a part of that media. And inviting them in, so in this case, right, our customer for the Imaginary Bird Feeder Company was an amateur photographer. Wow, that's easy, right? They have lots of images. They would love to have their image on your blog for the day, right? So if your customers are learning to eat different foods, right? So if we're in Rebecca's piece, you know, send us that moment that you had this feeling with your 5 senses, or send us, you know, something that you can share with other people, because this is such a personal journey. Alice, this would work for your customers too, right? To be able to say, hey, this is what I got out of that class, but more so, this is what I got out of the concept from that class. It's not to say, oh, I bought this and I got this. It is, I committed to this idea, and this was the outcome that made my life better. So if we're looking at Jamian's business plan of, hey, I wanted to have a special meal for people that I loved, right? That was the ask. And then here's the outcome. I felt these ways. It was beautiful. It was private. And here's what it looked like. And then those people can send in their images for you. And for anybody who wants to, this is Shakina. I think Nancy, you were at this picture. Were you at this photo shoot day? Yes. We'll see if Nancy answers. But again, you can kind of start to cross over, right? In this case, for the Imaginary Bird Company, here's how you do a bird mask. This was from this Beast Summer. When you're going through your 8, I do want you to think about what are all of the different products that you have that customer would consume. So yes, they may buy a bird feeder, but in this case, they may buy different types of feed. They may buy a second feeder. They may buy a squirrel proofer. They may buy something to, you know, manage all of the debris. So think about all the customers' pieces that they're going to consume. They may consume a bird feeding class. They may consume a garden class. They may consume something else. So what is standing next to you? The other thing that is really helpful, and this will work really well actually in for many of you, is to really look at the products that they're going to consume that you don't have to make. So if they're buying your thing, you can build a partnership so that they can buy this other thing, and then you'll make money on that as well. So if Alice is doing this class, she may have another person that's offering a class that she's taken, maybe on vision boarding, that she can send her people to, and she can have, you know, a 25% rebate on, and she doesn't even have to do that work. Right? So what are the products that they would consume with or without you? You know, are there personal care products? Is there a fashion number that you can actually look at all of the products that they would consume and then figure out how to deliver those to them, and then for you to be able to not have to add any more work other than building the relationship or partnership, and then you get paid as well. So sometimes that's just giving people a code to say, hey, you're going to get 25% off if you buy Match Bars, right? So remember your solutions. You're giving people solutions, and most people are wanting solutions through storytelling, through an emotion that they have. They want to be intrigued, right? And remember, we came up with a very different conversation around, right? In our imaginary bird feeder company, right? 100 people don't see enough nature. Boy, if I look at that palette as a marketing person, there's a lot of information that my people would really enjoy, right? So, you can kind of think of it that way. So I have 2 more slides left, right? I would think about the length of customer interaction for yourselves, because in those 8, not all of them are going to be the same time length. So some people you actually just need a really short relationship with, and some of them you really have an elongated relationship. So we were Jamie in, right, and that we just found out we're engaged. We've got an engagement party. We've got possibly a groom's dinner, possibly a mother-in-law's dinner. We've got all these other things. So you may have some customers that you're actually going to have 5 services with, and some that you're just going to have 1. So think about that length of customer interaction. And I would start applying that to each of those 8. Because that also lets you know how much time that you're going to really put in there. So a customer interaction for Donna on somebody who's just buying 1 coloring book, boy, I don't have a lot of time with them. They're going to buy this 1 item, and then I have to have another product to sell them, right? So, okay, or I need a series of products to be able to sell them, or I need another offer to give them after that. But if this is somebody who's going to do a fundraiser every year and they have a new group of kids, that customer interaction is every year, it's all the time. So if that's a new league with new soccer players every year, we're going to see them on an annual basis. So your customer number 1 may have a much longer interaction period than customer number 2. Okay, I'm going to open this up again, and we're going to talk about your value and your value add, and we're going to talk about your intrigue and your customers. So, and this is your chance to ask all the questions that you have. And please remember, I'm going to put my video back on. Please remember, right, that you know all of their details on the side in that chat box. So you can look at, like, I see, Alice Flowers. Here's, I empower women to transform their mindset. These are what she does. Karen Karsten, life coach, writer, right? So be sure to kind of put in there. All right. That was a lot of content. So first, we can just all exhale. Oh, welcome back. How many times did you go, oh my gosh, I don't know my customer?
Yeah.
Right.
Nikki, I have a couple things. Somebody
sure,
asked
bring
if
it.
you, somebody asked if you are giving them a copy of your slide deck. And also Kathy, Christine, I think.
Yeah, so I think the slide deck we use, it'll be in the video. Right. So, because you post them, right? You post them up on YouTube?
I post them on YouTube and I send the link. Mm-hmm.
So you'll get to see them again.
If you want to. And also Kathy said that she's sorry she can't make it because she went to a job site. She's going to try to join us if it was all possible, but evidently she's going to be watching the video.
Oh, good. Good. Well, we love Kathy. This would have bent Kathy's brain today. So I might have to call her. So what are you taking away? What when you look at those customers, how many of you went, oh, I got 3 off the top of my head? And then the other 5, you're like, where am I going to find that? Right? So I would think about, sometimes it's easier to think about your customers based on the obstacle that they have or the outcome that they're trying to get to. So, you know, everybody here has worked with people enough to know kind of a place to start. Your 8 will change over time. There was a time when I started my business in finance, teaching people how to read a union handbook. That's why I had so many construction and things like that in my life, because welders, union members that were in grocery stores, all of them, all those dock workers, that they would be talking and they'd be like, oh, you got to call Mickey. You know, because, and here's why they called me, is because I would read the manual. And I understood manual, right? Well, now we're 20 some years later. I don't read a lot of manuals. So that customer is gone. But did I really enjoy, you know, pipe fitters and, you know, tinners and all of those guys? Absolutely. But it also then led me to a different customer, which was learning to build jobs in the trades for women. And so I built an entire program with Women Venture on that. So sometimes just you going into a customer that allows you a starting point will direct you towards the next place. So don't think about your 8 as, you know, children that you've birthed and you've got to keep from now till for whatever. You're really looking at where's your skill set now? Where's the product availability that you have now? Because you're here to make money now, right? What do I have here? And what are the 8 customers I have with what I own right now in skill set, in knowledge, in productization that's already built? And what are the 8 that I can get to right now? Nancy, you've cut your hours down. So are you changing your customer model? You got to unmute. No. Oh yeah, there you
go. No, I'm seeing the same people. I saw one person I've been seeing for 20 years yesterday. Okay. Oh, off and on, you know. I'm teaching classes to, you know, the same kinds of people. I want more people in those classes though.
Right.
So, but the same types of people. I mean, everybody has pain. Everybody has trauma.
Yeah.
Everybody gets stuck, you know, and to move past some of that, you got to get that out of the way. That's why I put here, I help people align with what they want by helping them unblock what's in the way of getting there.
Right.
So that doesn't sound very intriguing yet, but it's really boiled down.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. Now so, make it delicious.
Yeah. Now I need to find the secret sauce ingredients there in the words.
Right. This is why writers were invented, right? Intrigue.
Yeah.
And that intrigue on that may be around the identifying the pain that trauma causes and the joy that it feels to release it.
Right.
You can get your life back after your son has died.
Right. And there's a difference between, like, does your pain have you or do you have your pain? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, are you operating in this thing that's just like this all the time, or like that thing, those big things happened and you've worked through a lot of it. And so now you can be calmer and more free. And still, yeah, you had those shitty experiences, you know, and, you know, that's still a part of your history, but you can go forward easier without getting so triggered and, you know.
Right. Now you also own a company that does a product for women in breast cancer.
You do.
So that may also be a place to put into your 8 is to really look at people who are in trauma around a breast cancer diagnosis. Right. Now I can make that bird number 3, right? People who are in trauma around a breast diagnosis, and now we also have this other company, right? So you can kind of start to align your multiple businesses.
And I also work with wedding couples, you know, like I do premarital counseling and I do weddings. So, you know, it's like I can help them. It's a whole nother area I can open more of this up.
Just bird number 4,
Yeah.
right? Bird
Wow.
number 4.
Wow. Yeah. You know, I've tended to compartmentalize so much of what I do and not open up the connections between all of it.
Right.
So it's really helping me see more of those connections.
And that's where that 100% value, right? What is the 100% that you're going to bring somebody to? And that is to an elevated emotion or an elevated connection to all of the life cycles that they go through.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Baby blessings, getting married,
right.
Being, you know, doing funerals.
Yep.
All that efficient stuff.
And that can, again, we all have been in elevated solutions that are elevated emotional places that have lots and lots of stuff on them that are confusing or confounding or aggressive or unfortunate, right? So just getting people through those really difficult tasks.
Vicki,
okay. Yeah.
If somebody wanted to schedule a one-on-one with you, how would they do that?
Yeah, I'll put my phone number in here. I have an assistant named Kelly. So Kelly is my assistant and she can always book that in. You guys get those reduced buddy call rates. So those buddy call rates are just $85 as opposed to my $225, which is my normal business rate. But you guys are just actually, you know, I'm very committed to you guys growing. So those are called buddy calls. They book in advance. Sometimes people do them for more than 1 hour. It's 1 hour. It's always on the phone. And 952-232-0406 is my office number. And you can always text me 651-850-6080. I'll put that in there. Okay, I want to go round robin here. What are you taking away? What is your question? I'm going to start at the bottom with Sandy Cleland.
Okay, I am taking away. I'm working on my list. I'm up to 6 different types of clients.
Good job. Wow.
And thinking of, you know, like you said, you have different posts for different ones. And I also want to think about the 100%. So just honing in on that. And I think my most difficult, not difficult for me, but the clients who feel like they have the most difficulty or the most questions or how do I do this would be the people selling a house and buying a house at the same time. Like they want to know how that all works. So, you know, just to make an intriguing statement about that. I mean, I think it's intriguing just the way it is, you know, well, yeah, how do I do that? And so I always say, well, you know, you have your options and let's talk about it because there are several different ways to do it and they have to pick out which works for them. So I'm going to just keep working on how to communicate with each different type of buyer.
So when I think about your 100%, I think about your 100% as being right, that 100% of people find their best self at home.
Okay.
Right, that all of us, no matter, everybody goes on vacation, everybody wants to get home.
Yes.
They want their own bed, they want their own smell. That 100% of everybody on this call, I'm willing to bet, loves some part of their home. Right, this is where you are your best self. We've got to find you the place to give you that comfort, to give you that sanity. Rebecca, what are you taking away?
I made a lot of notes. I have a lot of takeaways, but I guess top ones are, it was really helpful to think about working backwards in terms of what's the problem, like what is it that I'm offering, what am I solving for these people? coming up with 8 people, really nice to have a number that's 8. And I guess a really big shift for me was really starting to think about that this is an emotional thing, because coming out of the medical background, it's always so technical. It's like, what are you doing? What is it that you're offering? How are you doing it? And when it's really, and I know from seeing people that it is always emotional, it is always these more deep-seated feelings, but to actually just speak plainly to that instead of trying to dress it up differently.
Right. And you have also done with Facebook posts, finding what's the word I'm looking for? The audience depicting. Do you have anything to add to everybody else on that? On how hard it is, how easy it is?
Yeah, it's so much easier than you think, honestly. Because what's great is that you can just Facebook makes it really easy. They'll even, if you just follow their prompts, they'll even set up testers for you, and you don't have to put in very much money. Like really, you can do it for less than $50 to do a week ad, and they'll collect all this data for you. And from there, you can build so many more ads on top of it. And just learning like those basic things, it's really set up to help you. So I highly recommend it.
Right. And for those of you who are thinking about a sales funnel or some of these wider topics, you really have to understand that ad space. And that sales funnel for you, someone like Christine, that would be a big deal, right? Because you want those people in class. Rebecca, that would be for you as well. Alice, that would be for you, right? How do you build that sales funnel for people to do those online classes? So Nancy, that would also fit to you. All right, Christina with a K.
So
I'm
taking away quite a bit. I think sometimes I struggle with taking my own advice. I know how I can help other businesses, and sometimes I find myself lacking in those very services that I offer to my customers.
Right.
So I appreciate the feedback that I got from you, because sometimes I think what's interesting or intriguing to me or about my business might not be what my own audience finds intriguing. So I think kind of incorporating the fact that, I am a busy mom. I was a nurse just a few months ago. I didn't start this till November. And just showing people that I am relatable. I'm a mother, I'm a wife. I'm not some celebrity. I'm very down to earth. And just let my audience know that you can do this too. Like, let me help you. Let me get your business or your brand to where I am, by sharing the things that I've learned along the road. So I found your piece very helpful, because it kind of opened my eyes to, there's a lot more that's intriguing to me, that I just think that are everyday things, So
Right.
I'm really excited to start using that.
Good. Alice, what are you taking away?
What I took away from this was I need to just redefine my customers. And just like Christina KP, I'm looking at my customers the way I look at me. And I'm thinking that, okay, my customers are me. They're just like me. But maybe I'm just limiting myself to think that way as well, because I am a stylist. I do beauty, skincare, makeup, style based on your body type, your coloring. And I'm finding that a lot of women, when I approach them from that perspective, it's as if women don't want anyone telling us how to dress, and finding a way to help enhance their style, enhance who they are, is using a high achieving woman and just adding those other pieces to it. So I think it helped me to redefine how to communicate with women. I mean, I think you all would agree, you don't want to be told how to dress. But at the same time, there is something to be said about how we show up, and how do I communicate that to women. And I think by adding high achieving women instead of, hey, I can teach you how to dress, change your style, is to incorporate the style in with teaching high achieving women how to go to the next level. Right. So it's redefining how I approach women.
Right. So the other piece of intrigue that I wrote down from just what you said was a beautiful woman's style is projecting from a personal growth story. Right?
Yes.
And so when you look at people that we think are really ravishing, right? You can tell that they're okay with themselves. Right? And you can tell when somebody's just having a good time, and that energy of expansion allows you to make, as we've learned, right, better decisions on everything. Right. And if we're with Rebecca and we're tuned into that, right, we're going to make different choices about the food that we make relationships with, and the clothes that we put on our body, and the limits that we're willing to kind of push away.
Yes.
So yeah, I think Intrigue's going to be really fun for me to watch for all of you guys in 2021. It's going to be delicious. Okay, Jamie, I know you're in the store. Tell us what you're taking away.
Do
you want me to wait till you're out of the store?
No, I think I have. No, I can stop. Trust me, they'll wait for me to spend my money. No, I've taken away, like, I definitely know, like, my customers. I think I could fill out 8 customers and say they're 8 different kind. I think I do cater to a certain niche, like the discerning customer, more than anyone else. So in thinking about that, I'm thinking, like, how do I base that off of, how do I take that and base how I'm marketing and what I'm putting out here and what it's saying to present that before they ever get on the phone with me or whomever, in a way of seeing that, whether that be through my pictures or through all of those things. So just probably going to add a couple of tweaks to my work that I'm doing in the 3 compartments of, like, kind of compartmentalizing and concentrating on 3 things that I have going on. How do I make those? Because they're all pretty much the similar customer.
Right. So here's my piece on a discerning customer that all of you can take away, but Jamie, this would be for you, is a discerning customer often needs a reassurance, just like an anxious customer. So they need a reassurance, and you can give them a lot of those reassurances before they walk in the door. What are your policies and procedures? What is the contract? What happens if? Right? So rain plans, things like that, FAQs can really help a discerning customer.
Okay.
So that your marketing materials are going to really come in the form of actual materials that your customer is having and utilizing, and how are they going to use those more efficiently.
Okay.
So that's a great contract, is what you learned last year. Now, this year, you'll learn everything else for that discerning customer. Okay, Christine, what are you taking away?
So I have focused for 2 years on just one ideal client and describing her and writing her story, all of that. And I love the idea. I have struggled with that. And I love the idea of 8 versions of her, because then I can actually get more into her head instead of the variations of the one I've chosen. So that I've listed as what I'm going to work on. And I think that will help me a lot. And even digging deeper into getting into her head and talking in a way that she needs to hear, in a way that she actually hears it instead of just blah, 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 blah.
Right. Self-identifying, right? The other thing about people that have worked on that one customer so diligently is you may actually want to meet that customer at a different point in their life. How can we meet that customer at age 26 and at age 86?
Right. That's good. Thank you.
Because they're still your person, and you already know them. You know where they're going to go. You know all of this parts of the journey because you've seen that customer so intimately for 2 years. Yeah,
that's so good, because I just acquired a client who is like 26, And I have noticed a lot of anxiety around how I'm going to help her. And it's like, she's the same woman.
Yeah.
Just getting to do the work earlier in her life. So,
right. Yeah. Right. Christina, aren't you 26? Yeah. Any words of advice for us of talking to the Christinas of the world?
You know, I didn't even know who I was or what I was doing, not even, you know, a few months ago. I guess my best advice would be it's never too late to change your mind. It's never too late to find yourself. And if you're afraid to take that risk, if you're afraid, just do it. Everybody's going to be afraid. You're supposed to be afraid. And if you're not scared and you're not afraid, then you're not doing something big enough.
Right.
Right.
Good.
Right. And I think what I like about that age group that that Christina's in is it's full of life. And it's full of opportunity and it's full of energy. Look at, I mean, she just went, oh, I'm going to change my life. Yeah. And baboom.
Yeah.
You know, if I were going to put anything about life in your 20s, it would have been va-va-voom.
I think the younger girls that come around me and stuff like Christine and them, they're who I wish I was bold enough to be at 20 something. Yeah. And so it's I know this sounds really bad, but it's almost like I could live my greatest thought process into them because they're hungrier for it. They're not afraid. They're our children. And so because they're our children, we kind of loosen up some of the fear, but then they have much less fear than we ever had. Like they come out of the womb saying, I'm going to start a business. And you're like, well, wait a minute, you haven't started walking yet. What's going on here? So.
Right. It's just, it's, I think you will enjoy that age group, Christine. And Christine with a K, I think you're going to enjoy your own age group.
I am. I'm loving it.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, Janet Mills, give us what you're taking away.
All right. So intrigue to me has really fired me up because it's the nice part of things. So for Mickey, she could have shown us a picture of a whiteboard. That's what she used to use. Or a picture of a really ugly PowerPoint. No, we get all these birds. And that's the intrigue. I don't want to say the frosting on the cake, but it's what makes our customers go, ooh, I want that. And for like every single one of you, I kind of see the intrigue that you all bring to it in terms of especially like unconscious self-limiting thoughts where we're all sort of stuck. And when some of you coaches, like if you get that away, we can be bigger because we just got one life, right? And then for me, it would be telling a customer they want to have a really great party, let's say a post-pandemic blowout, and they want to have a party. So I'd be like, get your facts straight. So they type in Times Roman on a piece of paper, blah, 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 blah. And then we would give the intrigue for the party invite for people to be intrigued, because that's, they may have 5 things they could do on a Friday night. And it would be maybe a vintage era or a color or a mood or a photo. And that intrigue is what separates, that's what makes life worth living. It's a special sauce and it's what separates us from other businesses.
Right. The yummy, yummy, yummy.
Yes. And
all of us want yummy.
Yes. Oh, yeah. And I had 2 other thoughts earlier. One is Mickey sees the beauty in pigeons. Like those were pigeons in a Kmart parking lot. And it's the beauty that she sees. And the other thing is that we, after this intrigue lesson, I would take it the next level of getting inside of the customer, maybe by a survey, because we can generalize by appearance. So for example, those birds might've been puffy. Well, we're in Minnesota, it's cold. They just have their feathers loose. So not stereotyping from the outside, but getting into what they really want deeper.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah. Yeah. I actually, I could see that really working for not only the coaches, but I could really see that working for Christina's model of, getting to know what your customers are going through. Yeah. And I meant that with Christina with a K. It'll work with a C, but again, I think that's good advice. Good advice. All right, Donna, what are you walking away with?
Well, I have a pretty big mixture of stuff. This was a lot of content, like you say. I have heard you talk about decks before, and I don't know, I should have known you would make it be like, really? I've heard this content before? Like, I'm like, yet another Mickey Mikeworth class or Rich Chick's class. And then I'm like, really? I took this before? Because this all sounded new to me. And I think Janet's right about birds, like, and of course, birds
Well, of
are
course,
big,
you love birds.
big birds are pretty big in my world. Yep. And so, now the pigeons, I had pigeons on my house and it's awful, really awful. So the day I saw a hawk in my neighborhood was a beautiful day, and
Yes.
those pigeons are gone now. And and I just, I love, Janet, what you said, like, wow, Mickey can love pigeons in a Kmart parking lot. Like, you really do have some amazing skills. So my thing, I have, so much going on, but I want to get my sketchbook out, and I have a visual of what you've just described. And in order to process it, I need to draw it. And so that's, I've got that going on in one part of my brain. And when we talk about the writer and the story and making the intrigue, I get the block. No, not writing.
Right.
No writing. Pictures only, please. And I get really, I just shut down. I'm like, oh, this is why I don't have any marketing, is because I just can't do that writing. And it's like, I can do writing. I have to do writing for my day job. I do a nice job. So I don't know why I have that whole like, it is such a boring topic to me, and yet it's just constantly playing in my head. So anyway, let's see, you only said it once, but I love that these 8 birds are not children, and I don't have to have them forever. There was something very freeing about that.
Yes.
Like, they can be one thing right now and something else later. I mean, that's just like birds. Sometimes you got cardinals at your feeder, sometimes you got crackles. So I don't know. I don't know if I have a takeaway. I want to go and look at the class that I heard you talk about decks before. In that particular class, the soccer birds were like your perfect example, and I have it all written down. So now I want to take these two and put them together with the visual and all that data that I felt so lucky in that particular NW2 meeting, because it was like, oh my gosh, I really had a lot of takeaway in that one.
Right. And I do write these classes, for you. So thank you for noticing that I do create this content specifically for you, that I try not to repeat. Even if I repeat a topic, I'm not going to do the same exact class, because it just gives me a chance to build on top of build on top of build on top of build. So I do create something new every time. Even if I'm repeating the subject, doesn't mean we're going to look at it the same way, because you guys have evolved.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for noticing that is my gift to you. That, it only gets more fun as you guys get greater. I mean, it's just a fun part of watching everybody grow. Okay, Nancy, did I ask what you were taking away? Have I already gone to you? Yeah,
I don't think
Nancy,
so.
what are you taking away?
What I'm taking away is kind of a jump off from what I said last time. All of the different things I do, not compartmentalizing them, cross-pollinating them more, like open that up, man. I mean, you could, there's just a depth of things I could be doing that I'm not, reaching people.
Effortlessly.
So, yeah. And with all that same thing, but it's going out there, like instead of just all these little pigeons. So anyway, and I loved your bird theme. I absolutely was like, are you kidding me? We're seeing a picture of a bird's feet right now. And it really relates. I mean, it was like awesome. And I've seen those birds at the Kmart parking lot. I I went there one time to work with them a little bit, and I was like, oh my God.
I know those birds, right? I know those birds.
It's just tons of them. It's like crazy. So anyway, so it was really fun. And I've seen lots of pigeons in the city. I mean, working in the city, and wow.
I just love that we know exactly what Kmart parking lot too. It's just like the
yes. For those of you who live far away, this parking lot is misery. It is complete misery. It is a junk hole. It is where if you have activity that is legal on the verge of illegal, it's going to be in that parking lot. That's where you would get that done. So it's everything from, you know, people that are day workers to I need an ID that says I'm from a different state, to you know, just I made some tamales and I'm going to sell them, to can we get some deck furniture, and you know, and can I just eat my pizza in the sun, right? I mean, it's
Can I just drive down the road and get to where I'm going? No, you must detour around the Kmart parking lot.
But what Donna's saying is we hate it, the zen of that parking lot, because the big thoroughfare in our city is blocked by this effing Kmart. And so you can't go through. It's
the common problem.
Yeah, the karma of the Kmart is just like,
and so I thought it was just a really lucky spot, you know, that, I mean, boy, lots is happening there, you know. It's just it's a cosmic unfolding. It's kind of fantastic.
I just said, okay, Mickey, I'll go. I'm there. 5 minutes.
I don't know that I told you the location before we went.
No, I'm just like 10 minutes. I'm there.
Yeah, 10 minutes. I can be there, because I was worried that if I had a lot of food that they would attack me. So I would need somebody to kind of, you know, crazy. Karen Carson, what are you taking away?
Well, I'm taking away a lot. I was working on the different clients, and I really hadn't thought about that before, that there would be different ones. I work with a lot of different groups, and so I hadn't really thought about who was coming to me.
Yeah.
Because they just sort of appear.
Right.
And I like that it's kind of karmic, I guess, that people that show up. And I'm working more on creativity now for coaching, because I think that really helps solve other problems. I think getting people into the image area, so that, and sometimes I use tarot cards for that, and that's been very effective. So I think that a lot of things that happen help you figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
And I like that. So, and it is never too late, even if you're 26. It's never too late to do anything if you want to. And I think that's one of the big mindsets when you get older that people have, that what's the use? Or, you know, why would I invest that money in me now at this time? For people who are over 60 and I'm over 70. So I think that keeping that spark alive, keeping that creative spark alive for your entire life is something that I'm really working on for people who are my clients and people who are my friends also. You know, you can't just sit around and watch Netflix forever. Well, you could, and there's no end to it, so you could.
Right.
And Mickey, did you mean to put your information in the chat box? Because if you did, it's not there.
Oh, did I send it to one person alone? Let's see. Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know.
Oh yeah, I sent it to Janet Mills as a direct message. Sorry.
Oh,
hold on. Thank you for that.
she might not have known it was only for her. I don't
Right.
know.
Janet Mills, this is for you.
I had a buddy call last Friday with you, Mickey. It was great.
Oh, good. What was your takeaway on that?
Well, first of all, I felt sick, remember? And we still changed my life anyway.
Handy.
You know, I just want to say, of those of us who are beyond 26, that I'm taking this immersion class. A lot of the women are quite young, and here I am. I'm bringing up the rear as far as like how slow I'm moving through the course, and and we have a group meeting, a support meeting, and I was able to remind them. They were like talking about, I don't know, there were stressors coming up. I'm like, well, in lesson 1, she talks about, like, I was able to remind those who are moving very quickly that, back in lesson 1, she said, and they're like, oh yeah. And it felt so good to have that, like, just because I'm moving slow through the class, I still, and it just was really a great reminder that we are all bringing something really beautiful to the table.
Right. Yeah, I took an origami class online a couple of weeks ago, and it's like, really? You all have folded that up already? and to find out that they actually hadn't either, because at the end of the thing, you hold up what you were doing, and most people shut off their camera. So
Wow. Well, let me tell you what I'm taking away. Did I get everybody? Did I miss anybody? No? Okay. Here's what I'm taking away. One is we had a lot of conversations around age today. And that really that belief that there is, some of you are like, hey, we are karmically aligning people, but I see Christine raising her hand.
I have to go.
Oh, she's got to go. Okay.
Hi, Chris.
Bye.
Is that energetic alliance, right? That there is value in you at every age to really get to that energetic alliance of who you are. And where is the light that you're going to shine with others? And for many of you, you're working with other people who are working on their light. So it's really understanding, again, how to have the conversation, have it be practiced, have some rehearsal time, have some thought on it before you're just in that moment, right? And that is what a marketing deck can do, is it can help you outline the important things to say, right? So that you can keep your energetic thoughts together as you're delivering, right? It's that you can't just feel your way through it. You've got to have a well in the back that you can draw from to go, oh, hey, this is bird number 2. They need this. Let me be magic and deliver out of all these 100 choices. Let me deliver them the 3 that they need, right? Let me hone in because I practiced this part. And that part of valuing the entire part of your journey, regardless of age, I think is really critical. So Karen, I'm really glad you brought that up, because that is, we start to devalue ourselves. And when we start to devalue ourselves based on how far we are in some other mantra, it's silly. There's value in finding your light every day at every age, and being present and thoughtful and acting with integrity to your own journey is so imperative. So, and I always thank you for showing up, and I thank you for noticing, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any final questions for me? Oh, I forgot my good news. We got Match Bar is to Cub, so that will be, if once Cub is there, I'll have 100 stores in this city live. So,
all right. So Cub came through. Is that right?
That's huge.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying? Cub came through?
What? Cub has come through. We got to get it to their shelves, which is a whole nother rigmarole. But they have had the corporate yes, which is a big deal.
And what is that behind you, Mickey?
Right? You like my Match Bars right there? I started just putting them back there, just a little, whatever. And I know that Sandy picks them up for us regularly. So thank you.
I would grab another basket so we can put.
Yeah. So, and I know Janet sometimes picks them up. So, but anyway, it is always a pleasure to be with you. Let me know how I can help you. But I'll see you next month.
Thank
Rebecca.
you. Oh, I just have one quick question. How is this once a month?
Once a month.
Okay.
The first Wednesday.
First Wednesday.
Okay.
Nice to meet you, Rebecca.
Nice
Yeah,
to
nice
meet
Yeah.
you.
Good to see you.
And Christina.
Alice,
And
we
Alice.
miss you. Welcome back.
Thank you so much. If I could just say something quickly, Karen, thank you so much for, there you are, for encouraging me. You are my inspiration, because I'm in my 60s, and for you to be in your 70s, tell me I have many more years to go.
Yeah.
to work my business. So thank you so much for being an inspiration. And Rebecca, I just want to share with people that when I talk about style, I'm talking about similar to what you're doing, the high contrast and the look. It's as simple as that, is helping people to just recognize how to show up online and be memorable and noticeable.
Right. Very good.
Thank you, Alice.
Okay. Bye, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Align. Jam. Okay. Bye.
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 Okay.